Hi everyone, my name is Rabbi David Mason. I'm Rabbi at Muswell Hill Synagogue. Welcome to my home. Welcome to my conservatory here. I'm really excited to share with you Tu B'Shevat. Tu B'Shevat this week, what we call the New Year for trees. And we love fruits. I mean, so many of us have been planting fruit and vegetables in our garden and using this last period of pandemic to, in a sense, go into our gardens and develop them. We had a load of potatoes, onions, spring onions, strawberries, tomatoes, and we loved it. So let's be together now on Tu B'Shevat. Tu B'Shevat is actually known as a Rosh Hashanah. We're told in the Mishnah, which is a text up to 2,000 years ago, that there isn't just one Rosh Hashanah, the Rosh Hashanah we know of. There are 4 Rosh Hashanahs. Arba'a Rashi Shanim Hem. There are 4 Rosh Hashanahs, and one of those New Years is what we call the New Year for trees. And we're told it's on the 15th of Shvat. That's actually the opinion of Beit Hillel, as we love to disagree in our religion. Beit Shammai say the 1st of Shvat. But as we go, according to the opinion of Beit Hillel, it's the 15th of Shvat. Tu B'Shevat, Tet Vav, is the number 15. That's when we have this New Year for trees. Well, what is it? Why do I need it? Well, the idea is that the New Year for trees is a tax year. The idea is that we tithe, we give a tenth of the produce of the tree between 1/15th of Shvat and the next 15th of Shvat. And so it really acts like a tax year to demarcate one year to the next. So we aren't giving tithe over last year's produce, we're only giving over the produce that comes on the tree and ripens after the 15th of Shvat, because the ripening will begin now, moving into the spring and towards the summer. So that's a bit about Tu B'Shevat. We also see in the Torah that Israel, the land of Israel, is considered special for a certain number of fruit and species, called 7 species, the Shivat Haminim. And they are Eretz Chita U'Sorah. We're told in Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 8, got it right here, that Israel is a land of wheat and barley, of grape, of fig, and of pomegranate. It is land of olive oil, which we understand to be the olive, udvash, and honey, which here we understand as coming from the date. It wouldn't make sense to have bee honey here with all the other species. So they are 7 species in an order, from wheat and barley all the way through to dates. And there, of course, are more species that we know oranges are grown in the land of Israel. But these are species that God is praising through. And we see amounts of these species often pop up in Jewish law as referring to amounts. How much should we drink for Kiddush? How much am I allowed to eat if I'm really ill on Yom Kippur and I would eat a small amount over a certain period of time? What is that measurement? All these come from these specific species. And you can do a sort of Seder out of them. You can eat them. And what we're going to do is have a little bit of each of them in order here today. Of course, what's the order? Well, it would look simple, wouldn't it? The order would be, of course, the species in their order. So we'll start with wheat. I've got a cracker here. You can have your Jacob's cracker. And you would use the cracker first, because before we say any blessing over fruit, and here's my fruit here, we say a blessing over mezonot. Mezonot beats out fruit. So before I say my fruit, I'm going to say a mezonot, and this will be for wheat. Baruch atah Adonai lemelech haolam, borei minei mezonot. We love a Jacob's cracker. Absolutely love a Jacob's cracker. And what we would do then next is have something made of barley. I actually haven't got here with me something made of barley. Get some barley cracker or something made of barley and have that second. And since you said a blessing of mezonot on the cracker, I don't now need to say a blessing on what's made of barley if it's in front of me, because I've said my mezonot blessing, intending that I will eat both the cracker made of wheat and whatever I've got made of barley. What I'm going to do next is have some grape juice. Now, grape juice is the next in order. Grape juice comes after mezonot, but it will become before I have the rest of my fruits, which is Borei Peri Ha'etz. So I've got some grape juice here with me. I'm ready to have a nice little swig of beautiful grape juice. I think it's Kedem grape juice I've got here. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Borei Peri Hagafen. Beautiful. Now I want to tell you something about the gefen, because all these fruits are compared to the Jewish people in some ways. Really fascinating. And we learn different perspectives from each of them. So what about gefen? Well, it's very interesting. We're told that Israel are compared to the gefen, to the vine. Why are they compared to the vine, we're told? The bunches of grapes compare to wise sages. The branches are people who might not be wise, but have a job, work and live at home and own a house and have a house to run and a family to run. They are the branches. Then the leaves are those that have less knowledge, and the little tiny tendrils are those we're told are empty, are less full of Torah and of mitzvot. It's really fascinating. And what we're told in this is that they all come together, that the wise need the leaves, right? We know that the grapes, they need the leaves, right? They need the branches. And so we're being told that they therefore have to daven and pray for those that know less. I.e. a sage, someone who's knowledgeable, a rabbi, cannot say, look, I am knowledgeable, I know, and everyone else doesn't matter. Right? They need also, in a sense, to be reflecting, to be connected, to be with other people as well. So that's gefen, and we move on now from gefen. And we're going to move on to the fruits, which is really, really exciting. Because actually, when you come to the fruits, there is actually an order that we eat them. Should be the order of the verse, of course. But actually, that's not the case. Because we're told that twice in the verse, the word eretz comes. If you remember, it says a land, eretz, of wheat and barley, and grape and fig and pomegranate, a land of olive and date. And we're told that the order puts a fruit that is close to the word eretz, close to the word land, that is more important. That is put first. So we can see, for instance, that zayit, olive, comes just after the word land, whereas gefen is third from the word land at the beginning. And so the order goes olive, let me get it right here, date, grape, fig, pomegranate. That's the order. Olive, date, grape, fig, pomegranate. So we'll start with an olive. Love an olive. And there's a midrash about the olives, a really beautiful midrash, where we're told, why are Israel compared to an olive? The reason they're compared to olive is just as the leaves of the olive tree never fall off. Whether it's winter or summer, you see an olive with its leaves. So also Israel will never cease to be. It's a lovely sense of trust that whatever we've gone through, there's a belief that we spy out in the olive tree that Israel will be. And we, I think, shouldn't take that for granted. Where other nations or other peoples may have come and gone over history, we as a people have been throughout. And we have a special role to be a light of justice and good to the nations. Now, this is the first of the fruits, right? We've done mezonot. We had our crackers. We then said Grape Gafen on our grape juice. Now, on our fruits, we're going to say the bracha Grape 8. But I've got 5 fruits here. I don't need to say a bracha on each one. I want to choose one, and that will exempt me to say the blessing on all of them. And the one I've chosen is the most important one in the verse we now see, is Zayit, because it comes right after the word land, because we're praising the land with these produce, with these fruit. So on an olive, I'll say Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri ha'etz. Lovely. Beautiful olive. Great. So we've done mezonot, we've done gefen, breper gafen, we've done olive. What comes next after olive is actually the last of the verse, but it's only 2 away from the word land. That's tamar, or the date. And there's an idea, of course, with the dates as well. Why is Israel compared to the date palm? Because on Sukkot, lots of different elements of the date palm are used for mitzvot, where it comes to covering schach on top of the sukkah, using the branch for, of course, the lulav itself. There's a whole list of different elements of the tree used for different mitzvot or different customs on Sukkot. Nothing is wasted. There's no element which is blemished. Everything is used. So we're told with Israel, nothing is in a sense wasted. Everything has its place. And that's really important. There's a message here of diversity. As a people, we are diverse. We all have different roles. Everyone is really important. And I think that's a beautiful idea for us on Tu B'Shvat. So I'll take the date. I'm going to open it up. There is a sort of requirement to take the stone out and check there are no bugs inside, which often we don't find, but sometimes you do. And then I'll eat my date. Here we go. Super. Sticky hands now, of course. Well, really, really lovely. So we may have done Grape and Guffet, but of course we've got to do the grape itself. Here we've got a grape, and that's our next fruit from the verse. And we're told in the Midrash, would you believe it, why is Israel compared to the grape? Well, it's beautiful here. And we've seen that already, of course, connected to the grape juice, the clusters of grapes, the tendrils, the branches. So again, we're saying the importance of learned people. We'll just repeat that idea. The responsibility of those who are in authority religiously to relate to the whole of the nation. And I'll have my grape. Two more to go. Next is the fig. Got a lovely fig here, which I've opened up to check. Here is my fig right here, you can see. Again, now it's not this time why are Israel compared to the fig, but why is the Torah compared to the fig? The Torah, of course, is like the lifeblood, the central lifeblood of our nation, pumping through our nation, of absolute importance. So why is the Torah compared to a fig? Well, the idea is that other trees are harvested all in one go. You harvest a large amount of a fruit. The fig is harvested bit by bit. And so the Midrash wants to say, it's actually in the Talmud wants to say that this Midrashic idea, this interesting idea, that so with Torah, if you look at Torah as something that you can just learn in one go, learn totally, you've sometimes missed the idea. The idea of Torah is to learn it bit by bit, one bit after another. And I can say myself, this cycle I've been learning the Daf Yomi, one page of Talmud each day, which is a 7.5-year process. There are many people who've done 4, 5, 6 cycles of this because you can keep learning, finding something new, a new insight. And that's really beautiful message actually today. We often think of things in terms of completing them. We want to finish, we want to have the degree, we want to have the title. With Torah, in a sense, you never get the title, but you always have the title because it's learning bit by bit, which is the beauty of learning Torah. And then that is a message from our fig. Here we go. And so we end with the rimon, the pomegranate. Sometimes the messiest of fruit. You don't want to get this on your shirt. I certainly don't now. But a beautiful one, actually. Because there is a verse in the Song of Songs, like a slice of pomegranate is your neck. It's said by the man to the woman in love. Rakatech, your neck. Whereas here, the Midrash understands the word not just to be from neck, but rake, the same letters, meaning empty. And the Midrash there on that says, even the empty ones in the Jewish nation are full of mitzvot like the rimon. There is, of course, this myth or idea that there are 613 seeds in a rimon like the mitzvot. We're not sure there are in each one, but the fullness of seeds, the abundance of seeds relates to mitzvot, right? And that's really important, the idea of abundance and mitzvot, because on the one hand, we talked about with the fig, the importance of Torah. We talked with the grape about the clusters being the sages, learned in Torah. Here, We're putting, in a sense, at the forefront the doing, the active element of our religion, the doing the mitzvot, the Shabbat Kiddush, the candle lighting, the giving charity, the hearing the shofar, the Megillah, all sorts of active things that are part of the praying, that are part of our religion, are really important. And so we're saying that whoever you are, however learned you are or are not, you can still be full of mitzvot, like the rimon, like the pomegranate. I think that's a beautiful idea. I'll have one or two of the seeds here. They're always beautiful. Lovely. And I'll end with that. We've had some mezonot, which is our first blessing. We've then gone to the second blessing, hagafim. Have a wine if you want, a lovely red wine if you want as well. I've got my grape juice. And then we had the fruits. And remember the order of the fruits. The custom is to have first the olive, then the date, then the grape, then the fig, and then the pomegranate. That's the order. And I think really we've seen that some of the ideas around the fruits that we're eating here, on which the land of Israel is praised. There's a lot here about inclusivity, thinking of the whole nation, not thinking a part of nations, thinking of the nation as a Knesset Yisrael, as a congregation of Israel. We're all part of it. There are differences within it, different groups, but we're all part of one nation. And if we work together, then we really have so much amazing beauty to give the world. Have a great and fruitful Tu B'Shvat.